right, we're starting over. Hi, I'm Sharon Caddick with New York New Rock. We're here in Manhattan with Fury and the Slaughterhouse, who have a new album out, Mono. They're playing at Irving Plaza tomorrow night. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, fine.
You're doing good, huh?
Yeah, today was a good day.
So you're over here in the U.S. You come from Germany, is that right?
Yeah.
And what town are you from?
Hanover.
Oh, the whole band's from...
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been together?
For 7.5 years right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get together in the beginning?
Like all of the bands get together, we just met and then we jammed around in the rehearsal room. And we played a show and decided that it was fun, so we kept the band together since now.
Mm-hmm. Has it been hard?
It was fun, mostly.
Like everywhere else in the world. But it's much going on in Germany, and I think one of the good things in Germany is it's a small country with many people. It's 80 million people living in the size of a state like, I don't know, Texas or something like that. So it's more easier to come out of your town. I think it's much more complicated in this country. And we have a very good club scene in Germany, where you can play even as an unknown band without a CD and get money for it, and can get experience.
Unlike in New York, you almost have to pay to play. Have
Yeah,
you heard that?
Yeah, we met many bands, and I think that's a horrible situation for a scene, because that's the way where you learn, you know.
Right.
It's playing live in clubs, and that's the way to do it. And if you have to pay to play, then most bands can't afford that.
Right. I mean, it really keeps you down. You're supposed to try to use your creative forces, and here you have to worry about things like...
Yeah.
So where do you draw a lot of your inspiration from?
You know, have a look around. Have a look
So
around.
just look around, watch the news, or there's so much happening in the world that you'll never have problems if you want to write a song, I think.
Mm-hmm. Who are some of your influences as you were growing up, or bands that you listened to?
It depends who you ask of our band. For me, it's like the Stones, T-Rex, Chuck Berry, the old blues guys.
Well, we got 6 different people in the band, and everybody's got his own taste. So, like my brother and me is more the English Australian guitar rock thing, like U2, Chameleons, Midnight Oil, things like that, and Excess. On the other side of the bass player, there's Miles Davis and jazz. So it's your show is not long enough to tell you all the influences and all the names.
Well, when you actually then sit down to write the material or go into a studio, how do you come about with the songs that you have on your album? Is it a collective experience, or one person generally writes?
You switch out one said a wonderful sentence. There are songs flying around in a room, and you just have to grab them. And that's it. Not too long. Mostly we're just playing in the rehearsal room and putting the things together, and I write the lyrics. And then we go into a studio and work with the producer together and try to make the last small arrangements to make a good song out of it. Sometimes we succeed and sometimes not.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to record your album?
Too long. Always too long. About 2 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And did you have the material already, or would you get?
We have a good selection of songs now, but they're not ready. We're going to studio when we're coming back from this tour. I think we're another 2 weeks over here, and then we're going back, and then we're going to the studio and have a look what will happen to the songs, because the song is growing somehow, or some songs fall down and you think in the first moment, yeah, that's a great song, and if you try to record it, then you notice it's like, that's bullshit, let's leave it. And other songs where you think that's a bad idea, and then you're working on it and it starts to get a good song. So we will see.
Mm-hmm. When you started out on this tour, did you have any preconceived ideas, or you know, anything in particular that you really wanted to happen or hoped would happen?
What I hoped would happen is that I get new experiences, and that for sure I did. You know, for us coming from a small town like Hanover, very unimportant, it's a new look to the world when you're going to New York or to Chicago or, I don't know, elsewhere here in the States.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, I just hope that we don't have to fly with US Air, that's all.
So when you go back, then you're already getting ready to do a new album?
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already wrote about 25 songs and some are already recorded. But just like Christoph said, we're going to leave this country at the 15th of October, and then we're going to go straight into the studio and start the recordings of the new album.
Well, I really think the album is really good. I think that it definitely has a distinctive sound about it. When you hear the songs, they stick with you, and it's not like you're going, oh, that sounds like this or that sounds like that. I felt that you had distinctive flavor all your own. I particularly liked Money Rules, and maybe you could talk about a little bit about some of your songs, like Money Rules.
You know what you said is the best compliment you can do, you can give us, because I don't know, we are not the very good musicians like Joe Satriani, or I don't know, I can't play very good guitar, but if you say we have style and it sounds like Fury, that's the best you can say about us, I think. And the songs are, it's a collection of what happened to us, what in the years before we did that record, and that's all what you can say about the songs.
So it's good to see that you don't feel like you have to get up on the bandwagon and preach or carry a message to the world then. You're just going about making music.
No, I hate bands that say in the how to express that. I had interviews with bands when they say, yeah, we want to bring our message over, and it's very important that this shit. Tell you what, doesn't matter to me. What I do is just write little stories. I write stories. Sometimes there's something that I like to say, okay? Because if you listen to the songs and you listen to the lyrics or read them, you see that there are some political things that influence in it. That's okay, because that's my kind of responsibility I feel. When I see things that I think should be changed, I have to say something, and that's what I'm doing. And that's all. But I don't want to make them, this is not this message thing. It's a story. And I never said this is right and this is wrong. I always try to say it's a story, and hear it or read it, and use your brain, make your own thoughts. That's all.
So on the song Every Generation Has Its Own Diseases, what generation were you speaking about? In anyone in particular? Because it does seem every generation.
Yeah, every generation. We have our problems in this world and with our generations, but no. And in Indian they have a plague again, so it depends where you live, in what society you live, in what part of the society you're living.
Do you think that the music business and per se the way people sing and the way they perform now is leaning towards anger and frustration? I mean, especially in America, a lot of the bands, the grunge scene, so to speak, they portray very angry, unhappy kind of thoughts. But when I was listening to your music, I didn't feel anger. I didn't think unhappy things,
It's not enough, I think it's not enough to say this is a bad world, because you can't change anything when you have a very depressive attitude. When you're depressed, when you have anger, and when you're afraid, you can't change anything, you can't. And it's not a good way to live, I think Kurt Cobain shot his head away, shot his head away, this language, shot his head away because he had no hope for anything. And I think if you want to change the world and if you look to the world, you have to live. And to live means you have to laugh, you have to love, you have to have fun. Although the world is not good, although there are all these problems, but if you want to survive and if you want to live a good life, then you have to be, somehow you have to have fun. Say cheese.
And so, well, when you're at home, when you guys aren't making music, when you're not on tour, what do you guys do?
You're angry? No. Making music, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just, go to the movies or sleep. I like to sleep, it's a good thing. Or having vacations with my girlfriend somewhere, watch the world whenever it's possible.
Do you travel?
Around.
Have you traveled
I
much?
love to travel, but I haven't got the time to do it all the time. But if I got the time, I'd love to travel around and see things that I've never seen before, because that's interesting.
And your English, you both have a good command of English. Did they teach that in school?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's, in
But,
America, it's not that
tell you what,
necessary. They're so very tunnel to
what they
themselves.
teach you in school, is not enough, so you have to practice in another way. Like we go over here and play and talk to a lot of people, or you get a chance to get to know people in Germany that speak English and with whom you are able to exercise your language, and that's okay, and that's how we normally did it. Because all the kids in school, when you're just picking up English in school, they never get that level, I think. You have to practice it.
Oh, you're doing it good. You're doing it good now.
Yeah, but you know what he said.
Yeah.
It's like when you're forced to talk and when you want to talk with people, then you learn it. Even if it's not the right way to speak and not the right way to pronounce, but
So on every album, I'm sure there must be some favorites, you know, on the album. What songs are your favorite? You don't
no,
have any? You
no, it depends. You know,
We start with the father and the 7 kids,
Uh-huh.
and then somebody's going to ask him which the kid you love most.
Right,
If he's a good father, you don't answer this question.
right.
I'm a good father.
Well, I thought In Your Room was very in-depth. I really enjoyed that. And
I like it.
so what about your video? Are you doing a video with Cyndi Lauper now?
Yeah, we did it. It's already done.
Yeah, what's the title of
It
it?
was Dead and Gone,
Yeah.
and
How
it
did
was
you
a
end
quite
up
fun
working?
experience.
How did you end up working with her?
How did we what?
How
Pardon?
did you end up working with her?
We
involved
said
with her?
goodbye, and then she called over here after she listened to the record and asked if she could do a video with us, and we said, "This is a good idea. Let's do it."
Yeah,
And then
you
we
knew
did
her
it.
then. You were familiar with her.
No, we've done it. Or?
we saw her on that day.
Oh,
She's
you had not really been familiar or followed her. career.
No, it was,
Only before. We met her one time before in a restaurant here in New York.
but it was work what we did.
We did it.
And
One
she
day.
seems to be a very workaholic somehow. You know, she's very busy. She, what her I don't know what was the lady her manager told us that she's up every morning at 6 and goes to bed at 3, and she's working. So she's one of these persons, but she's very nice and cool and funny. And
So she liked your music so much she sought you out and wanted to work
yeah,
with you.
yeah, she wanted.
That's nice.
She wanted to direct videos. She did it for her own videos.
Uh-huh.
And then she was looking for a young band where she can do it the first time for another band. And then she decided, yeah, this band seems to be okay, and let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did it. We did it in one day, and it was okay. It was fun. Very professional, very straight, very easy. Good atmosphere.
So you were saying that you talked to a lot of people, the crowds, and on your tour and everything. What do the people say to you? What do they have to say?
You're awesome.
What do people have to say? A strange kind of question. They tell you a lot of everything.
They want to know all about you. They want to.
Or sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes it's just that you're awesome. Oh, wonderful, blah, blah, blah. Most of the people coming after the shows are, yeah, mostly. And then you just talk about things like, there's a song called Rainy April Day. It's about Kurt Cobain's daughter. And the last show we did in Charleston, South Carolina, there was a young teacher. She came to me and she discussed with me about half an hour about Blow Your Head Away with shotguns and leaving daughters and the different aspects in the committing suicide of Kurt Cobain. You know, everybody's talking about Kurt Cobain and nobody's talking about his daughter and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite interesting. So you talk about everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're not so different from German fans, I think.
Yeah, I
Nearly
think
the same. It's okay.
that's good. Their music is universal, and people are pretty much universal.
Yeah. The only difference in the States is that in Germany we have many young fans under 21, and they're not allowed to come to our concerts here in the States. But yeah,
What they're not allowed to go to concerts here? Or?
yeah, in the bars where we play because
Oh,
there's
right,
alcohol,
right.
you know.
Concert where
Right.
you can go 21. And this for me is kind of strange because everybody knows the people that buy records are mostly between 15 and 21. They mostly buy all the records, so they are allowed to pay taxes and things like that, but they're not allowed to see the band live performing live. That's kind of strange. I can see, you know, if they say no beers for people under 16 or 18, that's okay, but they should let them into the clubs and see the bands perform live. Because they buy the records, they made them big, you know, they're not allowed to see them live. That's strange. Because live is the thing where the music comes from, not the plastic record. That's
I
my
agree.
opinion.
I agree.
Okay.
So, do you have anything to say in closing? Is there anything you've always wanted to say on TV or?
I just fucking. And what's your language?
What's your name?
No. No, it's your interview.
Well, guys, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night.
Yeah, come around for a beer. Urban Plaza.
When you're older than 21. But I'm not quite sure if it's 21 shot.
And thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I think the album's great, and look forward to seeing the show.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye. This is what?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kai from Fury and the Slaughters, and you're watching New York, New Rock. See you. Bye.
Nochmal bitte.
Hallo ihr Pappnasen, ich bin Christoph von Fury in the Slaughterhouse. Ihr seht unser neues Video auf New Rock in New York.